Hi, it's Karen with RT Systems, and we're going to talk this morning about the TYT MD-UV380. And I want you to understand that the principles I'm going to show you here apply to the TYT DMR radios, the Bofang DMR radios, DMR radios from Radioddity, and Retivus. So if you have a DMR radio from one of those manufacturers, what I'm going to show you here should help you get your programming done. And I'm going to kind of go around and around a little bit because I'm going to kind of do it from an untrained eye with some mistakes and some, oh my goodness, why is my radio doing this? To show you how you got into it and how to get back out of a situation so that you know what to do next. Let's get started. When you first install and open the MD-UV380 programmer, it opens in a blank screen. What is this? Where are my memory channels? Everything else you've ever used has a grid that comes up, has numbering down the left-hand side for the channel numbers. Where is everything? Well, that's where this group of radios, as I said, from TYT, Bofang, Radioddity, and Retivus, they're a little different than some of the others. These radios cannot have a blank in their memory structure. So what we've done here is we've made it so the grid will continue to grow as you add memory channels. You won't be able to skip lines because, in all honesty, the organization of these channels comes in the zones. It doesn't really come on this page. So we're going to first take the scenario of I have an MD-380 and I used to have a Yaesu FT60, and I sure would like to bring those channels over so if nothing else, I can do my analog repeaters with my new radio. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this one. And I've got my FT60 right here. Now I can look at both of them at the same time. And if I want all of these in the other radio, I'm going to click right here, Control A, and it highlights the whole thing, and Control C, which is a Windows copy command. And I reach over here and it's on channel 1, so I want it on channel 1, and I paste. And wow, everything is there except my blanks. 15 is not blank. There's some other blanks in this file, and they are not blank in the TYT file. As I said, the TYT cannot tolerate that. So your channel numbers are going to be a little different. There's a way to fix that, come to think of it. Channel 15, I want 443, 425 to be channel 16. So let's make things line up. Let's go right here to channel 15. I right-clicked and let's insert a channel. Oh, I got a blank. Don't leave it blank. The programmer will take it back out. Let's put 146.52. You have to put a name. And I'm going to call it space because this is a space holder. I'm going to show you what we're going to do here in a minute. You're going to find this to be a pretty neat trick. Now I'm going to go down to channel number 48. Okay, and don't think of this as, why do I have to do this in the program? No, you are outthinking the design of the radio. The program just gives you an easy way to do that. I'm going to insert a channel, and there are two of them over there, and I'm going to insert a channel. I'm just going to use the same frequency. Little typing. And I'm going to get smart for the next one, and I'm going to copy this one. Okay, now I want it on number 51. Let me make sure I'm moving the right thing. 441.30 is going to be on 52 when I get through with this. All done. Now my channel numbers line up. That's going to make it easier here in just a minute. I'm going to save this. It's always good in these files to save before you move on to another tab. These files are very interrelated with this material. And if I save it up, then I have it for where I'm going next. And I think, oh, I'm all done. Let's send this to the radio. Communications, send data to radio. All zones cannot be empty. Well, let's tell it okay. And go to zones. Right down here at the bottom, zones. And lo and behold, they're empty. Let's see what we do on this page. Well, from 1 to 14, I'm going to call it my home channels. And I'm going to edit, and I'm going to put those 14 in that first zone. They're in the zone. Save it up. And now will it let me do communications and send data to radio? Something's happy about it. And I tell it okay. And it goes. And I look at my radio, and it says unprogram and home. Why does it say unprogram? What is it telling me? I turn the knob. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. My channels are there just like they were in my FT60, so I'm happy with that. And it says unprogram. So I go back to my zone and notice there's a B side here. And investigating this little radio always has A and B active. So you're always going to have that split display like you see on the radio. So I'm just going to put the same ones in B. And I promise you, you want to do one more thing. You want to make it easy to go between A and B. In the keys, I'm going to have side button 2, so it switch band A and band B. I'll send that to the radio and see if I get a change. Now it says 145.15 on top of 145.15, and it says home at the bottom. Let's make it say something else. This is the kind of experimenting that the program makes it easy for you to do. Actually, I don't want these here. I want to come over here. And it went from 16 to 47. Don't want 15. And I want to go up to 47, because those are all my vacation channels. You don't see them because they're way over here. And what you see there is just a sampling of what's there. Send this to the radio and see what happens. Experimentation is the fun part. Okay, still on the 145.15. And now this is kind of interesting. Now I'm in vacation and A is not programmed, but B is. I am always working in one zone at the time. I can be working on two different channels. I can go between A and B, but I can't be working in two different zones. But now, nobody says unprogrammed. And I want to go into vacation and go ahead and put my vacation ones into A so they are all there and convenient for me when I go to use it. Okay. Since I need to send this to the radio anyway, I'm going to make something happen here. Notice the radio is off. I know it's off. Communications and send data to radio. Screen comes up and OK. The dreaded no ports found. In this case, it's only because the radio's off. And remember, the USB circuitry is in the radio. If this were the very first time you were sending to the radio, it could be a little more than that, which we'll be happy to help with. But for right now, I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to turn my radio on. Hey, it happens to all of us. Communications, send data to radio, and OK. And now everybody's up and happy, and it sends the file to the radio. The rest of the channels from the FT60 file can be put into zones, can be broken down separately as you want. Right now, the radio only knows what I have put in home and vacation, and I could easily do an all and edit and just start at the top. And actually, if you'll hold the enter button, they all run over there, but it will only hold 64, and there are more than 64 channels in here. So at this point, you might want to come over, start at channel 65, and run all the rest of them in. You might want to take the spaces out. Here's a space and delete. That made it kind of easy because I can find them. And it's not deleting them. It's just moving them back into the other group. You want to click on the blue because if you don't, when you click on the other one, it will include whatever is blue. It's designed for the repetitive move. So the next thing you want to do with these, as you always did with your FT60, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce the FT60 and put this to full screen, is you want to be able to scan these channels. You either want to scan certain groups or you want to scan them all. That's done in scan lists. First scan list is home, because when I'm at home, that's what I want to scan. And I'm going to put those 14 in that scan list. The next one is vacation. And I'm going to start at number 16 and go up to number 47, because when I'm 400 miles away, those are the ones that are going to work for me. Well, this only holds 31, so I can't get all the way to number 47. So you either have to make a choice and remove one so you can put 47 in, or live with the first 31. It's your decision. You know your repeaters. There's no way I can do an all as we did a minute ago. Let's look at that again, because as I said, a scan group can only hold 31. I can make a random selection down through here and add those, and then make another random selection. You know your repeaters. You know what you want to scan and what you don't want to scan. Let's rename this. Okay, we'll just call it group 3. Priority channels, we're going to save this. Like I said, it's a complicated file. And while this is not pretty, this will work. We're going to close this, give that database a chance to get a hold of itself. Bring it back up. There we go. Scan list. It's a screen refresh thing with these databases in the background. And I want this one to be priority 1 and this one to be priority 2. And same thing here. Again, you know your repeaters and you know what you want to select. To use these, we go back to memories. And we're back on our main library of memories. And I'm going to go over to scan list. I want to be able to access that scanning from any one of my home channels. Be able to press the scan button and have it get started and go on. So these are home, and Control C, and down through those 14 and Control V. And the vacation ones. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here that you'll find very interesting. These are vacation. Remember how there was one that we left out, number 47? If I assign the scan group to number 47, it should include the channel to which it is assigned. Now, I say that, I have not played with this specifically on these TYT radios, but that's the way it worked on the Anytone radios, and I suspect it will work the same way. Either way, you've either lost 47 from the scan or you've included it. It's all experimentation to see what it'll do. The rest of the channels, if you want them in a scan group, you include them right here, but you can't access these channels yet anyway because we have not put them in a zone. One more thing for using that scan, settings and radio menu settings. Key settings. Long press on the top side button is scan on off. That's not a default. I set that. You pull the drop down and you give yourself a way to turn scanning on other than having to dig into the menu to find it to turn it on. Communications send data to radio. Everybody's happy and okay. Okay, we're in the home. We press and hold. Well, this is one of those funny ones. You see the little symbol that has appeared at the top in the circle? This radio is scanning. Although you do not see the frequency changing, it is scanning. If I had another radio on one of these other frequencies, I'd show you how it would stop there. The light's blinking on top, which I know you can't see, but this radio is scanning, believe it or not. Press and hold the same button. The display returns to the double display. Scanning works the same there. Now you're scanning on the B side. If you had different channels assigned in your home zone, it would be scanning whatever channels you had there. That's my all. And let's look at the file, 147.100. It's channel 1 in this zone, 147.100. Notice I do not have a scan list assigned to it. So this radio doesn't tell you that, it just doesn't scan. Okay, 145.15, which is all the way back up here at the top, 145.15. Let's go back up to the top, AB. And now when I scan, this one scans because 145.15 has a scan list applied. I've shown you a lot about this radio. There's a lot more to know, but this should give you enough to be able to experiment with and get started and get some good use out of that radio that you set up on your own. Have fun with it, experiment with it, see what you can do with it. You'll be surprised. It's easier than you think. So this is Karen, and remember, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. 73s.